and I am doing a late night trek on the track. So I'm trying out this live stream as I'm doing the walk here. So you can see me, or what can you see there? I don't know. It looks like a haunted house. Oh God, it's me. All right, so it is Doc. So yeah, I am walking on the track, and again, just kind of trying this out here tonight. So let me tell you what it's like right now. I obviously have my neck gaiter hat and all of this stuff. So it is 30 degrees out here, and it's dropping. There's low humidity, so it's cold. This area here, this track is a couple blocks away from where I live, so I tend to walk this as many nights as I can. And one of the reasons I do that is for fitness, and and I do it at night because I like to talk through things I'm thinking about, especially as I'm working on my book things. What questions might I get from my book? How might I answer those? So I do that in this setting because if you're talking to yourself at night on a track when no one else is out here, it doesn't bring a lot of attention to you. So I'm not sure if you can view what's going on in back of me. But yeah, there is a hospital. So let me turn this around and kind of give you the lay of the land up there. But you can see those red lights in the distance. That's where the helicopter lands. So I live close to, where the helipad is. That hospital actually is new. Well, relatively new. It's been there like maybe 12 years. So this side of town has developed since we moved in. But let me get back to, why I do this, why I come out here at this time of night and will, try to walk 4 or 5 miles. So 4 times around this track is a mile. So I try to, do 16 to 20. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't run around this track. But the only thing I have to watch out for here, and right now it's not a problem, but it is, I have to watch out for skunks. Yeah, because they tend to come up and dig out. There's a grass on the track here. So I don't know if you can see me. I mean, there's like no light out here, right? There's just, it's, whoa. But, so yeah, this week, obviously covered with snow before long, and because there are trees that surround the track, the snow doesn't melt. So this will be kind of off limits. I've walked this when it's snowy, but it's just everything kind of freezes, refreezes. The kids get out here, high school kids, and so it's like it's just too dangerous to slip and fall and stuff like that. So but anyway, I'm going to put a glove on because it is cold. So is your friend. I'm trying to navigate what is here. Wait a second here. It's bacon, and hey, look at this. So let me just try to put a little, hey, oh my God, it's Doc. So yeah, this isn't, so all right, so anyway, I'm out here walking. There's something underappreciated in solitude, but before I get to that, let me check over here. Got the old specs on. So hey, careful out there. Hey, Bacon and Lemonton, thanks buddy. So I have watch out for joggers. Yeah, thankfully I'm on a track. No joggers out here right now. I was out here a couple years ago. It was like a homecoming weekend, and high school kids came up on the track with their motorcycles and they did a couple laps, and I don't think they knew that I was up here. So I kind of walked off the track, and once they spotted me, then they kind of slowed down and took off. But I was like, well, I'm not going to report you. I mean, they weren't doing burnouts on the track and anything that was damaging. But so let me show you what is in back of me. And so back there, or back here are the stands. So at the football stadium, yeah, I mean, like, it's probably really sucks because it's it's late, and I have to grab my winter gloves here because, like I said, it's 30 degrees and it's a little bit windy right now. So tomorrow night I have a show, and scheduled for 8:15, and that one will be 75 minutes. I put a timer on it because I want to keep it concise. And I apologize that you're just seeing. Oh, there we go. Trying to. So, all right. I don't know if there's a way to show the other side of this or not. Like, it would be kind of more exciting, I think, if you were with me here. Ouch. And just a second. Hang on. Oh, that's a wrong glove. Just put my left hand glove on my right hand. Rotate device. Yeah, I get it. So if you're watching this, you're like, ah. Oh, great. Now is the hunt for the glove that I dropped, which is right here. Oh, Lord. Lordy, lordy. All right, hang on, guys. Got one more glove to put on, and see how this goes. Fingers are kind of froze right now. Okay, so yeah, fingers are froze, and all right, it'll keep going. So anyway, a few things. One is, yeah, show tomorrow night is about teacher burnout, and you know, there's this thing now, mental health days, schools, you know, giving teachers days off, kids days off. The problem with that is, well, there's a few problems with that, but it's become really trendy. You know, we're going to, you know, give you this extended weekend and stuff, but I'm going to point out why that's actually not effective, and give five ways you could instantly improve teacher burnout, right, and student burnout. So we're going to get into that. I already wrote the blog post, so that's all ready to go. So that'll be tomorrow night, 8:15 Central Time. It's a live show, and I have my timer set, so it'll be 75 minutes, and then done. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. So I'm up to like 585, which is great. I'm trying to get to 1,000. You know, I've got the book releasing in April, and to be above 1,000 at that time would be great. So yeah, if you can do that, I'm on Twitter, SafetyPhD. On Twitter, they're at SafetyPhD, right? So I've stayed pretty consistent on Twitter, like about 2,700 followers. Got it forever. So since that is my main means of getting my stuff out there. But yeah, so if you know someone or whatever, hey, you know, Safety Doc Podcast, Safety PhD, if you can sub over on YouTube and keep that going up. It's one of those things, right? Once you start to get to a certain threshold of viewers, you know, you start to climb. So, but let me tell you about why I'm out here. Again, it's exercise, and even I'm out here in summer as much as, you know, winter and things like that. But it's this whole thing of solitude, and you know, there's value in solitude, guys. There really is. And people mistake solitude as being loneliness, right? Or, you know, kind of reclusive. And it's the same thing when I'm riding my bike and I'm out for a day, and people are like, well, don't you want to bike with people? Let me change this up. And what's up, man? DLD After Dark. So I am I'm out here doing a walk and talk stream, and I don't know why this isn't. I guess I got to go back the other way. So right, so I don't know. I have no idea why that didn't work, but obviously I'm just holding this. I don't have this on a stand or anything, so there's much better ways to do this, right? But yeah, so I have walked, you know, maybe a few thousand miles on this track over the last 20 years, and you know, there's value in solitude, value in time when you're just able to talk through things without an audience, right? So I would be out here before, you know, my PBS presentations or, you know, the book stuff, and I would just pretend I was answering questions from an audience. You know, like if someone was saying, well, you know, how did you find the motivation to, you know, write this book or something? I mean, it's stuff like that where it's like try to game plan it a little bit ahead of time and listen to myself, try to answer those things, just kind of talk through stuff. But I'm getting cold watching. I'm in Texas. John Rice, Dad, that wins. It's so it will get much worse here. Yeah. So I have on, you know, and I've got my vest on. So, and the vest is really so if the police drive by and pull up and shine a light in here, they're like, oh, it's an old guy with a neon vest walking. So, you know, and they're gonna leave me alone. But it's windy and it's cold. But actually, this is great. This is invigorating. I really love being out here. Like, so that's the thing, right? I guess if you're in a cold weather state, you either have to love it or move away. But not that I wouldn't I wouldn't trade it for warm weather. I certainly would. DLD after dark. Well, yo, hey, it's Bacon DLD. So yeah, so again, this is just something. So I just got in a couple laps here, so just walked a half mile with all you guys. So I'm doing the heavy lifting because this is cold, and there's a flagpole on the other side of this track, and I can hear the chain hitting the pole. So with wind chill, you know, it's maybe like 20 right now. I have on a down jacket, which was just the insert on like this old REI jacket I had. So that tends to work pretty well. And when it gets colder, I'll bring out my authentic navy pea coat and change up to some chopper mitts and stuff like that. But I used to walk, you know, 7 to 10 miles at night back like 2014, 2015. So it gets pretty interesting too. Like, you know, you walk past frozen, you know, lakes, and out here, like, you know, the snow just be flying. And so, hey, let's talk about solitude. This is something where I'm going to do a show on this. The appreciation of solitude. I know there's this follower, chilling, yeah. There's this follower of my channel, Solitude Surfer. So, but that's not where I got this from. But solitude, I've talked about this quite a bit. You know, I tend to like time when I'm able to be out here alone, or bike alone, or, you know, some of those types of things. And people, again, and I think it's really good for your mind to just be able to talk about things and think about things, right, without necessarily other people. So somebody asked me, they're like, hey, like on those long bike treks, don't you get like lonely, or would you want anybody to go with you? And I'm like, well, one is no, I don't get lonely. Like, I really soak in what's happening, and there's this point when things just kind of spill out of your mind, like after an hour or two biking. It just becomes, John, you all in different time zones, my jobs don't land. What's up, Bacon? All right. So, you know, and then you're just kind of soaking in what's happening, and you can feel the sun on your shoulders, and, you know, the cranes, you know, we have sandhill cranes, there's a lot of cranes out in the field, stuff like that. But anyway, going back, I'm like, well, no, I don't want to bike with anyone, because I don't want to really engage in a conversation, and then I don't want to have to like keep pace, right, with somebody else biking. And So, so I'm like, it's okay. Like, I'm totally fine. Out here, I don't need any biking club. But yeah, a couple of people said, well, there's people that get together. I'm like, yeah, that's all cool. It's just when I go, I just want that time. I just want the time away. So I'm drinking. I'll try to stay on the topic. So yeah, I've got my flashlight out here. And so anyway, like this, where I'm located right now, is very close to a hospital that has a helo landing pad. So there'll be many nights I'll be out here and the helicopter will fly like right overhead. This is very close to the school's complex. I mean, where I'm looking beyond the camera is the high school where my daughter goes to school. So yeah, this is kind of cool out here. So yeah, the big thing, is just, I don't know if any of you, have stuff, you're chilling out, or up in a hunting stand, or out in the woods, or just those times when and what do you gain out of that? And I think it's really centering to think about what activities you got going on. Bacon, DLD after dark, not much. Oh, you guys are going there. Okay, so but it took me a while to not convince people, but people mix up again solitude for being reclusive or being lonely, and I'm like, none of these activities have that. So I'm wearing right now my Bondi 7 shoes from Hoka, and these are like the old man cushion shoes, and they're absolutely awesome, and so I'm really glad about that. So now in winter I'll have to change it up, and I even have like a pair of like studded shoes that I keep out in the garage for snow blowing and stuff like that. So those might come out, depends, but this town is the third oldest in Wisconsin, so one of the things is there aren't a lot of sidewalks, and so you have to walk on the road in winter. This is not safe, right? So hey, what's up, TSD, DLD, B3 Outdoors? Hey guys, all right. So yeah, this wouldn't be the one to stream out to 85,000 people, because this isn't, tomorrow and so Friday I do the face validity shows, but yeah, so I've just done my my third lap out here. I don't know if there's a way to switch this. Hang on. It'd be great to do the, I don't know what's up here. It'd be great to do the view so you could see what is what is happening. There we go. I guess it kind of works. Of what's happening. Oh God's sakes! I almost walk like right off the thing here. It'd be pretty cool to show like what is happening up ahead. But so yeah, it's cold out here, but I've given like I've practiced presentations out here, like media questions and stuff like that, and it's pretty cool because there'll be epiphany moments where I'll be like, man, that was a really good answer I just gave to that question, and then I'll like flip over to my recorder and I'll record like a 20-25 second clip, so I'm like, get back home I can listen to it. Oh, it's really good stuff. So yeah, this is good. And of course, just for fitness, to do 4 or 5 or I should say like 16 to 20 times around is 4 to 5 miles, and I'll do more than that. It depends. Sometimes I just kind of forget the time, but yeah. Looks like Safety Doc Paranormal Investigations. Oh my God, that is funny. Elephant armpit. Yeah. It'd be funny. Like, is it a ghost out here? I'm more worried. I'm not really worried, but I'm more worried about like high school kids, like running out on the track or something like that. But yeah, there's really nothing ghosty out here. What I do have to watch for is like this part of the track. It's closer to one of the roads, so when the police drive by, especially this time of night, if they notice somebody walking out here, I guess they notice me, they'll usually pull in I just throw the light on to see what's happening. And again, you know, old man here walking with a vest. Yeah, Blair Witch. Moose Gal, well, hey. So yeah, I'm all bundled up here. Moose Gal. So yeah, Blair Witch Project. It is interesting, right? Because this is the third. There, I tried to figure out a camera angle that works, like replicates. I don't know. I got to research this a little bit, but so as you know, we're walking. That's the district office in back of me with all the lights, which was built by high school kids, by the way. Mike Rowe would be proud. So yeah, so with the third oldest town, there aren't many sidewalks, so that's why, you know, this is what I do at night. Like otherwise you end up walking on the roads, and I think my neighbor almost got hit by a car doing that. Although the dude was like running in black, so this looks like something Joe Dolio would do, walking freezing weather at night. So yeah, there's a part of this that sucks for sure. I'm not gonna lie about that. I mean, as somebody who's lived in Wisconsin for 50 years, yeah, this does suck, especially you know, this time of year it really accelerates. But we're going to be 50 degrees on Tuesday, so we kind of have this one blip on the radar. And what I'm going to do, I already have a list made out. I'm going to put out my deer. I have these steel deer, these winter deer, which are heavy, and I'll stake those things down. The deer will be out there, and then what else will be going on? I'm trying to take a look here. Okay, there we go, guys. I'm going to bring in the hose reels, and get fire up the leaf vac, and suck up everything that's still out in the yard, and just blow it back into the park, which butts up against my property. That kind of works too, but yeah. And so I got all those things like that I want to get done while it's warm. And then, you know, that's about it. I mean, it's hard to believe. Like, I have a hard time. I don't know, you can post this in the comments. I can't respond right now. I got gloves on, you know, so you can obviously see. Yeah, let me do this. Like, so here's my gloves, like my Therma Insulate. These aren't even thick gloves. Like, I've got many layers to go. Bacon, Andrew, I could totally see him doing that outdoors. Yeah, what? Let me know. You're like, hey, like, there's a total opportunity for you to do something, Doc. I'll tell you, I would love to do some episodes where I go to like effigy mounds in Wisconsin, because where I bike, so there are effigy mounds, like 1,000-year-old Indian effigy mounds. I'm going to move the cameras. All right, so I'm on lap first inside track. So I've done a mile already. You guys have, what the hell? Holy smokes, like a turkey down there. So yeah, there's effigy mounds. So I bike past these 1,000-year-old Native American effigy mounds, you know, like bear and eagle, stuff like that, snakes. I would like to do a snake effigy mound, pretty damn easy, right? So, but you know, within where I live, about 15 miles from here, is the only man mound in the Western Hemisphere. So yeah, and they cut the legs off of it when they were putting in a road in like 1909. They took it from like the knees down, and it was, you know, huge. So thing's probably like 200 foot long or something. Like, you can look it up, man mound plus Wisconsin, and you'll see images of it. And then they chalk the legs out now a couple times a year, so you can see what it used to look like. But it's just a rural road. Like, how stupid to do that, even from like economy standpoint. Like, someone didn't, you know, try to reroute that or buy that up and say, hey, like, we're going to do some tourism thing here. Can you just have this road not cut the legs off this 1,000-year-old effigy of a human? So that stuff is just, it's weird. When I was in college, there was this girl in my class, natural resources class, and we were talking about effigy mounds because it came up in class and stuff like that. And she said, yeah, we've got effigy mounds on our property, like this, you know, 100 acres or whatever the hell. And she's like, there's a couple that we've dug up, and there's, you know, some out there, and I'm like, what? That was back in the 90s. And but yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff, if you own the property, and people didn't know that they were out there, but I'm pretty sure she's like, hey, would you like to like come out and we can dig up in an effigy mound? So I was like, no, you know, I'm good with not doing that. Although, like, to be honest, there'd be some curiosity in that, but I'm not going to do something like that. So back then, you know, that was the pickup line. Hey, do you want to go out to the woods and check out the effigies? I'm like, oh, it's all right, I'm good. But anyway, so yeah, so we're, again, you know, the whole thing of solitude. And if you think there's like, you know, I would love to do a show during the day when I'm walking through and show you the route that I do, because it's fascinating from my house. You know, I can walk over to the airport, and then I can walk past 2 lakes, and you know, it's like amazing how much stuff is pretty close by. Not to build this up more than what it is, because it really isn't that phenomenal. But and in winter they put ice shanties out on the lakes, and you have to put your name and address on the shanty. That's like what state law in Wisconsin, and I just thought it was kind of like a weird thing people did until last year. And then I looked it up, and I'm like, what the hell? And it's like, yeah, because if the ice gets thin, or you know, the shanty gets damaged, they have to be able to contact you, like the DNR. So but anyway, you know, it's kind of what it is. So talking about ghost stuff, so yeah, living in the 3rd oldest town in Wisconsin, there was a fort here, a military fort, Fort Winnebago, in 1824. Well, from where I'm standing right now, the actual fort would be about 2 miles away from me, the fort complex. So yeah, if I were, I mean, like in a direct line as the crow flies, it would be about 2 miles away. And so it was you know, from 1824, actually, the first building was there, but that was then bought by the fort, and the fort in 1828 started. Jefferson Davis was there. So I'm sorry, I can't get the comments here, but I can't really see what's going on that well. It's too fast. Like, I'm old man here, but out at night here, but and cold. So you'll see the hypothermia set in. I don't feel cold though. Like, you know, this isn't anything new for me, right? I've got the wardrobe to match this stuff. So everything's good. But yeah, so the fort, and that'd be an interesting live stream. There's only one building left. They tore the rest down in 1845. There was like a fire, and then they just let people come in and take the wood. You know, back then they're like, well, you know, we're done with it. But Jefferson Davis was stationed at the fort right here in town, and he was 20 years old, and so that was pretty interesting. I was a guide, a volunteer guide out there, and I also did repairs for free. I was not really the maintenance man, more like, well, I guess maybe the maintenance man, but you know, worked on windows, worked on pretty much everything. I rebuilt with my dad like a couple 100-foot fence. We did that with split log. That's just a hell of a thing, because it was, you know, you have to do it so it kind of looks authentic, and they never really you know, I'm sure today you'd have to do all these forms and make sure everything was done by historical record. It's not the way it was back then, which I guess was like just 15 years ago. So just repositioning the camera, and here we go. All right, if you see tears and stuff, that's not crying. It's just the wind. Makes me just tear up a little bit here. So no sadness or nostalgia or sentiment or anything like that. So all right, bacon. Cameron Sanchez, none of us wasn't expecting this. Yeah, either was I. I'm trying this out. So I'm gonna watch it then later and see. Oh my god. But yeah, so I'm now into more miles here on the track. This is something I do regularly for the last 20 years. So just hanging out here, walking on the track late at night. So, but yeah, coming back, here's some ghost story stuff for you. So I was a volunteer guide for, I think, like 5 years. And one of the things that I did was a lot of the maintenance. So I repaired a well, which was aesthetic at that point, like, it was filled in. And then, split rail fence, and a lot of I don't know. I mean, I kind of look at some of the stuff I did and I have pictures of it. And I'm like, God, it was pretty handy. And, was able to put stuff together and kind of bolt it and screw it together and hide all of that. So when you're there, like taking a tour, you never would know that fence was, all bolted together. And so it was a great time in life. And because I was a volunteer, I never took $1, and I donated probably a couple $1,000s worth of materials out there. And, just as I was building and rebuilding the fences and, working on the landscaping, which was just, a lot of it had been neglected for years. I had a couple supernatural encounters. The first one, I had parked my car in the lot and was going up to open up the existing building built in 1824. And next to the building was a hospital. And of course, most of the things that happened with the hospital were disease related, right? There wasn't a battle here, although there was a battle not far from here, where Chief Redbird and Prairie du Sac, but right where I'm at, there was never conflict. There was actually a trading. This was an area where the Indians would trade with the settlers. There was an Indian agency house built in 1832 that still exists today. Yeah, it's like 2 miles from where I live. So, but I was going up to open up the place. All right, here we go again. You're like, the place. Yeah, the place. I was going up to open up. It's called Surgeon's Quarters. It's where the surgeons lived. There's like 2 surgeons, right? So my car started to flash its lights and beep the horn. And so I was like, well, that's never happened before. This is like 2006 maybe. So then I walked back to the car, walked down this hill, and when I get like 50 feet from the car, it stops. And I'm like, okay, I don't understand. I go back up, same thing happens. Try to open up the door, and this happens like 3-4 times, to the point where I'm like, okay, what the hell's going on here? And I never felt like nervous. So it's just one of those things. And then I always thought too, like, hey, if there's paranormal out here, if there's supernatural, I'm one of the good guys. I mean, I have spent so much time improving this place, and taking this decrepit fence that's just basically non-existent, and taking everything out and rebuilding, like with logs, and splitting everything by hand, and really making the place look good, taking care of it. So I'm like, I'm on the right side of things here. So, and then another time I was taking a lot of pictures for postcards, and I had like a digital camera, and which was kind of like a new thing back then. Remember those, like before we had the phones? I had a digital camera, and you thought that was awesome. Like, I still have like 2 of them that, I don't know, they still shoot pretty good video. Like, I could rig it up on a bike or something. But and a lot of the pictures had what is it, like the globe type things. So, and I never had that happen on the camera, and not outside of like taking those pictures. That was the only time it happened. And then one of the pictures, somebody pointed out and said, well, this picture has somebody in it. Ooh. I'm like, no, there's nobody there when I took these pictures. And they're like, yeah, this picture though we can't use because somebody is up by the door. So I have the picture somewhere, and you look at it and you can see what appears to be the outline of a lady, which would be like an 1820s, long dress type thing standing by the door, more of, like not formal, but it's pretty, was pretty evident to the point where like they didn't use it for, they're like, let's just get rid of this photo. Like this does, it was weird. So if there's any paranormal stuff, like that would be the place. And there's a dude out there. Get this. So the fort, the original fort property, there's a farmer that owns it. He's still, and there's a cemetery out there too, like a fort cemetery. It's pretty cool. There's Revolutionary War soldiers buried there. But this farmer still uses the original well that was hand dug by the soldiers. Yeah, he still uses it for his cattle and stuff. And I talked to him and I said, dude, like, what's all the stuff you found out here? He doesn't want to make it public, right? Because he's a farmer. He doesn't want to, open up his place because there's not really much out there anymore. Man, whoa. All right, subscribe to the Safety Doc podcast so I can afford thicker gloves. And a warm bowl of soup here to offset the hypothermia. But no, I'm good. Actually, again, like I said, I'm used to this. It will be much colder. There will be nights I'll leave where the temperature will be minus 20 when I leave. So, and everything squeaks when you walk then. It's like everything is just, because it's all snow and stuff like that. But, so I had some pretty interesting encounters. Working out there, volunteering at the fort, but nothing, just some quirky things to share. But like I said, I was like, I'm on the right side of this, I am volunteering. But yeah, this dude, he's found, a ton of stuff because the fort was active for almost 20 years. So, belt buckles, buttons, parts of guns, and there was a stampede also that happened where the horses, ran across the river and, saddles. There's a river close by. A lot of stuff was lost. That was documented. So he doesn't allow people on his property to, with metal detectors and stuff. So he'll just, I know him. So he'll just say, like, I found some stuff. He has some things like he'll bring out and show now and then, like if there's a little community thing here with the fort. But I always think like he knows more. Like I just get this sense like it's like a Nicolas Cage type thing. Like he's discovered some hidden tunnel or some something, and he's not coughing up what's really out there. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting place. So yeah, I'm out here. Probably done 3 miles already, and I'm talking about solitude. And there's a place for solitude in every person's life. It is completely empty out here. There's nobody walking around. There are really very few cars not cars walking around. I guess if I saw that, I'd be like, what the hell? Very few cars. And so you kind of feel like you've got, the town to yourself when you're doing this. And again, I'm on a track, so this is all fenced in area. I don't really have to worry about anything. You can hear coyotes once in a while because this isn't far from the edge of town. If I were to walk about 15 minutes, I would hit the edge of town where it's all wooded and stuff like that. So this is also kind of it's a landlocked town because of rivers and marshes and stuff. So like when we got here, it was 10,000 people. It's still like 10,000 people today. Like they build like 3 houses a year because it's just so little property to develop here. So I don't know. I guess that's okay. The neighboring town has grown quite a bit, but we've just kind of maintained. So like I said, I have a fire going. I've had a fire going most of the day. Those of you that saw the firewood pile downstairs, I burned that. So I've already burned the last few days. Obviously, not everything I've got in the basement. That'll get me through. So yeah, it's funny because our cats all hang out in front of the fireplace. You know, they roll upside down, so they're fanned out, just getting warm by the fire. It's the funniest thing to see because I'm like, oh, you guys got the life, just hanging out there. You know, getting warm by the fire. So, I don't know if you can hear the wind, but the wind is picked up here. So, yeah, I don't know if you can hear the wind or not, but it's definitely picked up. So tomorrow night, 8:15 Central Time is the safety doc or show that the safety doc. It's all ready to go. I've already got the blog post done, and I'm going to tell you why. With you know, schools now are saying, hey, we're going to give a mental health day to staff and to students. This has really become trendy. I was out in North Carolina like last Friday. There's like, hey, it's like a state holiday for, you know, everybody gets a day off if you're schools, I guess. But so this is trendy. Again, I'm not crying. This is the wind, because it's a biting wind because the humidity is like super low out here. You know, obviously it's winter, right? So, but you know, you hear this now, right? You hear this because the news is going to cover it, and they're going to talk about, oh, mental health days for K-12 and for universities, and you know how this is helping out kids and stress and all of that stuff. And just the reality is, right? You know, I teach university courses. I have 20 students this semester, you know, who are teachers or administrators, and they're like, no, this doesn't help. And I'm going to tell you why that doesn't help. You can probably figure some of it out. There's some of it that's a little more nuanced. You know, I was, you know, a 25-year educator, administrator, and then also like 5 things that we could do like right away, right now, to counter all this burnout. You know, teachers walking off the job and nobody applying, stuff like that. Like, there are 5 things that we could do, and they don't involve money. They don't involve doubling somebody's salary or something like that. But I'm going to get into that because, again, you're going to see this on the news. If you're a parent, this is going to be affecting you, your kids. You know, suddenly you're going to be like, hey, you know, next Thursday and Friday we're not having school. I guess maybe it's because it's Thanksgiving, but you know, you're going to get hit up with something like that because we're taking a mental health break, and you know, so just take care of yourself and, you know, things like that. And you'd be like, whoa, like I gotta figure out childcare, or this wasn't in the plan. How are we going to make up this time, or do we have to make it up? And but yeah, something, as an administrator for 20 years, I never saw this. Like, I never ever saw this mental health stuff happening. And now, not the mental health is bad, but these mental health days and the way that they're just like, here's a day off, it's a mental health day. Well, that's a little bit different. So back of me here, those are bleachers. So you can see the bleachers here at the stadium. It's a pretty big stadium in my hometown here. Well, I guess the town where I live. I'm not necessarily my hometown, but yeah, you can see back there. So yeah, when they built this high school, they expected this to grow. Because there's a prison here, a federal prison, and they thought, you know, people come in, and I don't know, it's always been landlocked, so I don't know how they thought that was going to be solved, but here we go. It's Doc. All right, hang on. So yeah, it's a big stadium though, so that's kind of cool. And when my kids were younger, we would just walk here from our house. So there'd be a Friday night football game, and especially like the first few, it'd still be 70 degrees out. It was just a fun time. And you know, literally 2 blocks away. So, and yeah, that's been cool. So yeah, I'm going to get into that. I'm going to do another show. So I'm going to have on, hey, some of you might know this person, Sast One Too Many. We've been talking. So Sast is going to be on my show. We've got a couple topics we're going to talk about. He has a fascinating background. It's one of the things too, like, you know, you learn about people that have these amazing backgrounds that I'm like, whoa, you know, like we should do a show on some of that. So Sast will be on probably in the next like 2 weeks. on the Monday night show. The Monday night show is 8:15. That's been set. And then I'm going to do a show on entropy, entropy, entropy. And it's a term I actually had no idea what the hell it meant until like a year or two ago. I'm smart because I'm old and, I've studied a lot. It's things that you acquire over time. Like I didn't know a lot of the stuff I know now. I didn't know 5-10 years ago. What is qualitative versus quantitative? I remember being in a stats class and, the prof is talking about that in people and I'm like, I have no idea. So you just kind of pretend. I'm like, I don't know. So, make it seem like you know what the hell you're talking about until, or else you're like, whoa. But yeah, entropy. So entropy is I've just been tuning into that more. So entropy is the natural decay of systems. Or basically, in school safety, I saw this all the time. Schools at the start of the year, they do training, all your drills and how to report threats and stuff like that. And then they wouldn't visit it again the rest of the year. So people would forget, right? Like they had no idea how to do this stuff. And, it's the same thing, like with your car, right? Over time, things wear out, things rust. You can counter entropy by, fixing the rust, replacing, right, belts and other stuff. But eventually things kind of hit the state of disorder. Things wear out, including all of us, right? Like we as we age, like the systems that manage, regulate our bodies break down. Just the way that it is. But the more you can be aware of entropy in everything around you, like right now, grocery stores, banking, and just if you observe all these systems have entropy. So this is somebody who wrote, later every day off. I can't read it that fast. I appreciate that you commented. And if you think there should be some show that's, like we take a little hike around different parts of the neighborhood here, I'm up for that. It could be during the day. You don't have to be out here like, what's going on? It's cold. But entropy, it fascinates me because how these systems break down. When I interviewed the crab boater, Robert Travis, he said, we always had to go out on the deck and with sledgehammers and beat the ice off the deck of the boat. And if we didn't, the boat would become too heavy and then it would sink. It could sink. And there was a boat that sank not too long ago, like 3 years ago, because it had too much ice in it. So it's recognizing entropy in your life, in the systems that you work, the systems you develop. And that's where, I tell people, like, don't get too complicated in your systems because they get too hard to maintain. And if you look at really effective, like, people and kind of how in chaos and things like that, if people are just left to understand the situation and use their decision making and discretion, they usually do pretty well. It's when they try to remember some system that they taught and it was never maintained, like a flip chart that they only interacted with once, that things get really bad because they're like, oh, I forget that there's 7 steps to this. But entropy of systems and just how you can monitor it in your own life, fitness entropy, thinking entropy, and counter entropy, and how you can kind of see it in others and describe it in systems. But I don't know it as well as I want to. Like, I'll learn more about it, but entropy is going to be in the next few shows, And what I want to do too is, like, I just want to share this with all of you, right? Because I didn't know this stuff. So, of course, I have a couple master's degree, PhD, and stuff like that, but I never put those as like out front. That's not like the plow in front of me of saying, here's why I'm important. Entropy is built into, that's great. It's, I don't do that. And some people do, I never do that. But as I start, as I learn things, as I put the books together and stuff like that, there are certain things I want to share out. Not every, just maybe you you haven't heard about it that much. You know, we'll talk about things like entropy and you know, things like Joe Dolio talks about indicators and what is a lexicon, right? What is a lexicon versus vocabulary, and why that's important? You know, a lexicon, if I say like social distance, a lexicon is something that has like action involved to it. Like, you know, to stay like 6 feet away, it's something that actually you every day, like, it's part of your life, just not a vocabulary word. But and I'm also going to tell you, you know, things like I found in research why surveys suck. You know, most surveys are horrible, yet people do surveys, and then how people like make decisions based on surveys. I'm like, oh God, that's really bad. It usually leads to bad outcomes. And why do they do it? Because it's easy. 99.9%. Most systems, all systems fail. Atham, yeah. All systems, right? Everything eventually would fail. But so yeah, entropy is pretty cool. So yeah, let me know down below. We could do a live stream sometime out by the fort. I think this time of year it's shut down, so which is like the perfect time to go out there because I don't have to pay. And just kind of walk and point out some of the areas. It's pretty amazing because the Fox River and the Wisconsin are literally like a mile away in my town, and they would flood and connect up, so you could actually go from like the Atlantic to the Pacific, or you could get from the Atlantic down to the Gulf of Mexico. So, but there was a passage, Wyona Trail, where Indians would carry canoes like over this 1 mile and to connect. And they just found a 1,200-year-old canoe sunk in the bottom of a lake in Madison, which is about 40 miles from me. They just found it a month ago. And yeah, the law of thermodynamics, baby. Yeah, Atham, you can actually prove that. Oh, all right. So yeah, they found this. Someone was out, and they have what these things are called, dolphins, with little motors where you can go under the water and stuff like that. So, and this person had some background in archaeology, and she's like, I think this is part of a canoe. And sure enough, like, they brought out someone from the Wisconsin Historical Society, and they're like, it is. So then they got it out, and it still had fishing gear in it. Get that, it still had fishing gear. A 1,200-year-old canoe that was used for fishing on Lake Mendota, 40 miles from me. When they took it out 2 weeks ago, still had the fishing gear in it. So probably had the fishing license from back then. But yeah, so I'm like, holy smokes. Apparently it got covered with silt, right? And so apparently it got covered with silt, and because of the wave action and whatever, it just got revealed. So it was like the perfect time, because like if these people wouldn't have found it, you know, it said could have been damaged by other boats, stuff like that. It was like immaculate. I mean, it had virtually, no damage to it. The universe. Oh, shit, my bad, bro. Okay, I have to read back these comments. There'll probably be a lot of comments like, there's a ghost in back of you. I'll be like, what the hell? And I'll look, and it'll be there. So yeah, to me, that's really amazing. You know, like, they found this canoe, and, you know, just because this is, this area was Winnebago and Ho-Chunk. So, like, where I live, it's the plat book is like, it's the Indian Hills subdivision, and you can see when the subdivision was developed and that. And this used to be a not fort, but this would be an Indian encampment. Like, where I live, that was all Indian encampment back, in the 1820s and 1830s. So it's just kind of weird. But yeah. So anyway, guys, tomorrow night, that'd be great, 8:15 Central Time. And I do Face Validity Fridays, 9 o'clock Central Time on Fridays in the morning. And if you can help get this channel up to 1,000 subs, by God, that would be great. We're up I don't know if it's 585, 565, something like that. Up over 100 in the last month. So heading in the right direction. And, you know, at Safety PhD on Twitter. But yeah, do me a favor and follow that, you know, try to get up to 2,000 subs. So as I sign off here, let me do this. So I am, what the hell here? My 14-year-old electrical experience must make me an electrical PhD. Go for it, John. I can't. I wired something in my basement and I effed it up. And I wasn't there when the electrician came in. I had to call an electrician, and then my wife said, "Yeah, the electrician had a message for you." He's like, "Don't ever try to do this again." I was like, "Got it." Like I didn't know what I was doing there. And actually, I would never I would never recommend anyone to take the career path that I did. A lot of it was actually, you know, paid for by my employers and stuff. So I didn't, you know, run up these student debts and stuff like that. I was fortunate in that regard, and it was a different time, you know, kind of back then. Today, like, there's no way I would recommend that. So anyway, all right, I've just got my battery warning here, so that means I'm going to, whoa. I'm going to figure out how to shut things down here, guys. So this is the safety doc. Thanks for hanging out with me here on a chilly, what night is it? College is not for education, it's for indoctrination. Andrew, college from when I first went to college, yeah, man, has it changed. And yeah, I had Andrew, if I was to go through all of the classes that I had, first of all, I would be like, I wouldn't remember half. You know, I'd look at the number and I'd be like, what did I do in this? But I had an anthropology class, which was required, and we had to make flint knaps for like hunting. And I remember like my hands were all bloody, like trying to make these flint knaps with this instructor. It was like, what the, I mean, I was like, it was weird, but it was like this required class and flint napping and yeah, anyway, yeah, it's amazing. But so guys, thanks for checking in here, and I have to shut off before the phone shuts off. So it is your good friend, the safety doc, on a chilly, cold night here at the track in Wisconsin. Thanking all of you and signing off.